Your neighbor just bought a Tesla, third vacation this year. New kitchen renovation looks incredible. You're wondering how they afford it all while you're drowning. Here's what nobody told you: they can't afford it either. They're trapped in the same invisible cage you are, except their bars are shinier. And the worst part, the system was designed to make you think those bars are the prize. Right now, somewhere between your last raise and your next payment, you made a deal with your future self. You promised you'd catch up later, build wealth someday, start investing when things calm down. But things never calm down, because every time your income climbs, so does your lifestyle. Every raise gets swallowed by a nicer apartment, a better car, another subscription you forgot you have. This isn't about discipline. This isn't about budgeting harder or skipping coffee. This is about a mental prison that keeps intelligent, hardworking people broke while they look successful. And I'm about to show you the exact mechanism that locks the cage shut. Remember when your parents told you the formula: get good grades, land a stable job, work your way up, and financial security follows? That blueprint expired decades ago. Middle-class wage growth has increased by less than 0.5% annually since 2015, while inflation has consistently run at 3–4% in recent years, resulting in a cumulative cost of living increase of approximately 33% from 2015 to 2025. Translation: you're working harder, earning more on paper, and buying less every single year. But here's where it gets brutal. The Federal Reserve's survey of consumer finances shows nearly 60% of American households lack the savings to cover a $1,000 emergency expense. Think about that: 6 out of 10 families, one broken transmission away from financial collapse. These aren't minimum wage workers. These are accountants, teachers, project managers, nurses, people with degrees and career paths and retirement accounts they can't afford to fund. The middle class was sold a lifestyle they can only afford by borrowing from tomorrow, and tomorrow keeps sending collection notices. In 2025, debt has become the scaffolding propping up a lifestyle that was once attainable with just a stable income. Walk through any neighborhood, scroll through social media, everyone looks prosperous. The cars gleam, the homes are updated, the vacations look enviable. It's financed, every bit of it. The stability you see is an optical illusion built on credit limits and payment plans. Let me show you how the trap actually works. You get a raise, finally, 3 years of grinding, and your salary jumps $10,000 annually. Before taxes, that's about $600 more per month. You deserve something nice, right? You've earned it. So you upgrade, better apartment, nicer neighborhood, just $400 more monthly, still leaves $200 for savings. Except the new place is bigger, so utilities jump by $60, insurance goes up, parking isn't included, that's another $75. Suddenly that $200 buffer vanished before you noticed. But you're making more money, so you feel wealthier. That's the cognitive trap. Instead of asking whether they can afford something, middle-class earners ask whether they can handle the monthly payment. A $40,000 car becomes only $650 per month. A $3,000 couch becomes just $75 monthly for 3 years. This payment-focused thinking is financial poison. It obscures real cost and encourages overspending. More dangerously, it chains your future income to past decisions you made when you felt temporarily flush. Here's the mathematics of the cage. When half your monthly income goes to service payments for cars, furniture, and electronics, you've eliminated your financial flexibility. You can't invest, can't save, and can't handle emergencies without adding more debt. Every payment is income that can't compound or grow. Every obligation is another bar on your cage. And the cruelest part, you don't feel broke, you feel normal, because everyone around you is making the same deal. Your coworkers lease vehicles, your friends finance furniture, your social circle takes expensive vacations on credit. The normalized behavior feels safe because it's everywhere. But common doesn't mean correct. What everyone does leads to where everyone ends up, working forever with nothing to show for it. Social media turned financial competition into a blood sport you didn't know you entered. The middle class often measures worth against peers, leading to competitive consumption behaviors. Social media amplifies this tendency, creating constant exposure to curated lifestyles and apparent success. You scroll through Instagram, see the perfectly curated success, and your brain whispers, "You're falling behind." Your college friend bought a lake house, your cousin's driving a Range Rover, that person from high school is in Bali again. What you don't see, the mortgage drowning them, the lease bleeding them dry, the credit card statements they hide. This continuous exposure creates a distorted view of what constitutes normal, middle-class living, pushing many to make financial decisions based on perceived social expectations rather than actual financial capacity. The comparison trap works like quicksand. The harder you fight to keep up appearances, the deeper you sink. You buy things you don't need with money you don't have to impress people who aren't paying attention. And the truly wealthy, they're invisible. They drive paid-off vehicles, live below their means, and invest the difference. Meanwhile, the middle class perfected the art of looking successful while sabotaging wealth building. Many people who look wealthy are actually stuck in a financial hamster wheel, running faster but never really getting ahead. Here's what makes this particularly vicious. The pressure doesn't come from nowhere, it's baked into identity. The middle-class mindset often embraces an achievement-oriented culture that creates a privileged but pressured existence, manifesting in a constant striving for educational excellence, career advancement, and visible markers of success. Parents feel compelled to provide extensive opportunities while maintaining success appearances, creating overwhelming psychological burden and financial strain. You're not just buying a lifestyle, you're buying belonging, validation, proof you made it. Except you didn't make it, you leased it, and the bill comes due every month. This isn't accidental. The financial system profits massively from middle-class debt dependency. Banks use two common financial levers, savings and debt, to benefit their bottom line at the expense of their customers. On one side, they pay you almost nothing for savings. The national average personal savings rate is just 0.42% as of late 2025, far below inflation. So if you park $10,000 in a standard savings account, you earn $42 annually while inflation steals about $300 of purchasing power. Your money actively loses value sitting there. On the other side, they charge you everything for borrowing. Credit cards average 20% interest. Auto loans stretch 7 years. Mortgages span 30. The spread between what they pay you and what you pay them, that's how banks stay profitable while middle-class wealth evaporates. But here's the deeper mechanism nobody explains. Wealthy individuals strategically use debt to acquire appreciating assets like real estate, while middle-class families accumulate debt for depreciating items like cars and furniture. Same tool, opposite outcomes. The rich borrow against assets to buy more assets. The middle class borrows against future income to buy consumption. One compounds wealth, the other compounds payments. Total consumer debt in the United States reached approximately $18 trillion in 2025, with middle-class households bearing a disproportionate share of this burden, spanning mortgages, student loans, credit card balances, and auto loans. 18 trillion, that's the collective weight of the invisible cage. And the truly insidious part, debt makes you compliant. When you owe payments, you can't risk career moves, can't negotiate aggressively, can't walk away from toxic situations. As long as debt payments consume income, wealth building can't truly begin. The compounding effect that could work in your favor through investing instead works against you through interest payments. You become economically trapped in place, which benefits everyone except you. Breaking free isn't about earning more. Most people who escape this trap do it by completely rewiring how they think about money. First, recognition: income and wealth are not the same thing. A six-figure salary may feel substantial, but income is what you earn. Wealth is what you keep. When salary increases, lifestyle inflation typically keeps pace. You move to nicer places, buy better vehicles, eat at fancier restaurants, subscribe to more services. The raise disappears before it builds anything permanent. Here's what actually works when income increases: freeze your lifestyle, not forever, just long enough to build a foundation. That promotion gave you $600 extra monthly. Don't touch it. Automate transfer to a separate account before you see it. Treat it like it never existed. Let it accumulate for 6 months while you maintain current lifestyle. That's $3,600 sitting there, not changing your life yet, but changing what's possible. Second shift: eliminate the payment mindset entirely. The rich avoid payments, the middle class makes payments. Every monthly obligation is income you can't deploy elsewhere. Every payment plan is future flexibility you sold for present consumption. Start tracking every recurring expense. Subscriptions you forgot, services you don't use, payments you normalized. Most people find $300 to $500 monthly leaking to things they barely remember signing up for. Cancel ruthlessly, not because you can't afford them, because they're stealing from your future. Third, understand that calculated risk beats false security. The belief that effort directly correlates with financial reward keeps millions trapped in linear income models where they trade hours for dollars indefinitely. You can't work your way to wealth. You build systems that work without you. That might mean side income streams, learning new skills, or investing in assets that appreciate. It definitely means accepting that some volatility is necessary for growth. The S&P 500 has delivered average annual returns of around 10% over its history, significantly outpacing inflation despite periodic downturns. Staying safe in low-yield savings accounts while inflation erodes purchasing power is actually the riskiest move. Here's what nobody tells you about financial freedom: it's not about the money. It's about choice, the ability to say no, the power to walk away, the space to breathe without checking your account balance in panic at 3 in the morning. Most middle-class people never escape because they never realize they're trapped. The cage is comfortable enough. The bars are far enough apart to create the illusion of freedom. You can choose between these payment plans. You can select which credit card to use. You can decide which bills to pay first. But you can't choose to stop playing the game entirely. That's the difference. Real wealth isn't visible from the outside. It doesn't announce itself with luxury vehicles or designer labels. It whispers in the decisions you can make when money stops being the deciding factor. Right now, grab your phone, open your banking app, look at every recurring charge, every subscription, every payment. Calculate what you're actually obligated to pay before you see $1 of discretionary income. That number is your cage. The space between what you earn and what you owe is the only room you have to build something different. In the next 24 hours, cancel one subscription you don't use. Move one automatic payment you forgot about. Transfer $50 to savings before you spend it on something you won't remember next month. Just one circuit breaker flipped, that's how the walls start coming down. Not with massive overhauls or perfect budgets, with one choice that says, my future matters more than looking successful today. Comment cage OPENID if you identified which payment is keeping you trapped and you're cutting it loose this week. If you're the type who refuses to work forever for bills you don't remember signing up for, the video on screen shows you how to build income streams that aren't tied to hours traded. Like this video, share it with someone still convinced they just need one more raise to finally get ahead. Subscribe because every week I show you how to go from payment prisoner to financially free. Become a member for exclusive protocols that separate the builders from the borrowers. And drop in the comments what's the first payment you're eliminating. Let's break these cages together.